Today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the 4-3 even 6-1 defense, and this is very quickly becoming one of my favorite ways to play defense in college football 26. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to run it in this video. If you guys want to get any of my full breakdowns, my full schemes, they are available in our school community. It's only $10 to become a member, and you can become a member today. Get access to all of our offensive and defensive ebooks for both Madden and for college football. If you want to sign up, that link is going to be down in the description below. Now, the 4-3 even 6-1 formation is one of the best blitzing formations year in and year out. It is no different in this game. It's probably got, I would argue, probably the best or at least the most versatile types of blitzes that you can utilize. And we're going to show you some tricks with it today. Now, again, this is in the 4-3 multiple playbook. If you're a cut guy, I believe it is UCLA. I want to say it's UCLA's playbook. I know BYU has it. Miami has it. If you're a road to college football playoff guy, I think Miami's probably the best team to run it with, just because they have the best defensive line. But anyway, go ahead and get into this and why it is so good. It's also really good against kind of some of the meta formations that you're seeing. Pretty much in general, most of the meta formations in college football 26 are bunch tight end, cluster, bunch strong offset, bunch strong nasty, bunch X nasty, right? If it has the word bunch in it, it is meta this year because of the slot fade and how the slot fade just breaks down zone coverage. And so all I'm going to say is that this defense does a really good job against it because it is a compressed defense, and we're going to do everything out of this Sam Will blitz. Now, I'm going to show this against a couple of different things here, and like I said, I'm going to talk about this as a defense against multiple different things that the offense can do. Now, the way that I like to run this defense is I do like to go ahead and turn the auto flip off within this. I will show one thing real quick. If you disable this motion response, let's say you're playing like a bunch tight end. Make sure I'm actually in Sam Blitz. I am. If they motion across, you're going to see, even though I have auto, even though I have that setting, he does still follow him. We'll show that one more time because I did audible. You just double check here, and yeah, he does follow him. Okay. Now, the other thing, real quick, that you need to know is even if you put this defender in a zone, you're going to see that he will follow the player across. So you have to kind of be aware of that, and this is really good in a cover zero or man-to-man based game, which we find ourselves in right now. So that being said, back to the bunch tight end, and we're going to come out, and we're going to we're just going to run this like basic as is. And let's show you my favorite thing about this defense. So my favorite thing about this defense as a whole, actually, I want to one other thing with the coach adjustments here. One other thing real quick. I think I bought my shell to cover 3. So you want that on a cover 0 shell. They're still going to follow, I promise you, because you're in man coverage. But anyway, so you have cover 0 shell. So you see this is pretty good. Now, the easiest way to run this defense, okay, is really this. You're going to slant your line inside. You're going to pinch. That's it. And then if you want to send 6, if they block a running back or a tight end, you will get pressure. It's the easiest send 6 in the game. It's better, in my opinion, it's better than mid blitz just because you have a better alignment, in my opinion. The only thing is you don't have a slot corner, but the pressure is clean, as you see. I mean, it's super basic. Now, this is the most basic version. I got some other stuff too we're going to talk about. Okay. Now, if they block a tight end, right? If you want to send this and they block a tight end, same basic thing. You just kind of hover down in here. Okay, and you see, for the most part, I don't know why we didn't come in on that. Let's try it one more time. But if they block this tight end, if they start slide protecting in their offense, this is going to be pretty free too. There you see, you get a little DT disengage. Happens all the time in this defense. You get random disengages like that, like you would not believe. Okay, so again, the easiest way to run the defense, easiest way to run it is pinch, slant inside, boom, like that's it. Okay. Now, if you want to send 5, let's say we want to send 5, we're going to send 5 off the running back side. If they send 5 out, you're going to get pressure. Okay. If I want to send 5 off the left and they send 5 out, we're going to get pressure. So if I want to man up the running back, play a little cover 0, man to man, we're going to get that pressure, as you see. Okay. So those are some of the things, again, just simplicity makes this really good. Now, you want to run base protection. And I promise you real quick, I've tested all this in game. It works. I'm not going to go through the hassle of showing all that. Trust me, been doing this a long time. The blitz works in game just like it does in practice. Okay. Um, there's really like honestly very few scenarios where they actually are that much different. Anyway, look at this here. Pretty straightforward. You see the 5-man is 5 men. Okay. Now let's say I want to send 4. Okay. So I want to send 4. Why do you want to send 4? You want to send 4 because you want more zones on the field. You want to play more coverage. A couple different ways to send 4. So the first one is we already pinch and slant inside every single time. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to zone out your linebackers. So what I like is just 2 purples, and then you are going to go to your stunt menu, which you do by hitting left on the D-pad, R1, and you're going to go to the Texas 4-man stunt. Look at those blitz angles. You see those are different than we've seen in a long time. Those are the pinch, crash down, disengage blitz angles from last year and from Madden 24. So what you're going to see is we have a potential for one of these defensive ends to disengage within the middle of the defense. Okay. This is a little bit different than the Texas 4-man stunts that you see most people running out of like double mug or out of dime rush. This is 6-1's version, and it's just a little bit different because it's actually more of a true disengage type of blitz where that guy's going to B gap. They're going to do that a lot. And this is my favorite one. You know why this is my favorite one? Because it looks exactly the same as our edge pressure. And here's the thing. You have to zone out. This is really important. So with this 4-man stunt, you have to do it in order and you have to zone out like I did in the order. So let me just go over the order one more time. You could do this out of any play in 6-1-2, by the way. So let's say we want to audible to cover 4. Okay. We're going to pinch, we're going to slant inside, and then we're going to run the Texas 4-man. Now, even though the linebacker, and you see there, even though the linebacker is out there, you're still going to get your disengage. Okay. So we'll show that one more time. Actually, I wonder if I did it in a different order that I wasn't even realizing I did it. Let's crash inside first, then pinch, then Texas 4-man. Maybe cover 4 quarters is going to be different because it's going to be different. So you have to do it out of Samo blitz. So maybe I just was wrong. You find things like that sometimes when you try to say one thing and it's another thing. So anyway, do it out of Samo blitz and it works every time. I don't know why cover 4 quarters is being weird. Has to be because of the stock blitz angles within the play. But anyways, so you see how this happens in Sam Will sometimes we're like one side. So what I do is I pinch, I slant inside, then I Texas 4-man. Okay. And as you see, this is pretty consistent. Okay. And you see there, I mean, that's the power of the blitz, right? You can get that little disengage popping through. This blitz specifically is really good against a base protection where they untarget my user. So what a lot of people do against 6-1 is they will untarget your user and they will run a base protection. Kind of a standard way to do it. I'll stand right here like this too. I'll show you some other cool stuff. I'm going to hold left trigger and I'm just going to run out of the way. You see there we get some disengage and some sheds. Pretty cool, right? Pretty good defense, okay? Now, what if we want to get even more pressure? Well, what we can do here is we can pinch, we can slant inside, and then we can send the 5-man off to the left side. Now, remember, they like to untarget our user, right? So they're going to go base protection, and they're going to untarget my user. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stand right here, hold left trigger, and snap the ball. If they untarget me, I can basically just run right through the middle and sack them. Okay? Kind of similar to what a lot of people are doing out of mid-blitz. Now, the other thing about this is if they go base protection, I can now send 4. So the way I can send 4 out of this is I'm going to drop this defensive end on the right. So you see here, we're only sending 4. Okay? Now I'm going to hit the center, and at the snap, and once I hit him, I'm going to disengage. You see that send 4 comes in. I got to disengage a little better, but hard to do with 2 controllers. Okay? So the other thing about this is this specific variation of the defense I think is really good because if I send 6 and they block a tight end and a running back on the same side, a lot of times this blitz still comes in. I forgot to untarget I forgot to set the protection here. So base. And if they untarget your user, the best part about this is if they untarget your user, you can just user rush them. So that's another variation of the defense that is really, really good. You see here, you just use a rush. And that's going to put enough pressure on them normally. And normally, if you're just using one controller, you can easily get through there. But the other thing that I was going to show you that I think is kind of cool is a way that you can do a way that you can blitz out of the Texas four-man. So what we're going to do is this is kind of, you got to do it in order. So you're going to zone the linebackers out. You're going to pinch the D-line, slant inside. Then you're going to Texas four-man. So just like the disengage, you see we get this. Now what's cool is you can blitz the linebacker and it doesn't change the blitz angles. And so what you'll see here is this 5-man will screen off of that edge. And then the same is true. The same is true here for the left side. So you see there, oops, messed up my blitz here. I think I might have actually just messed it up. Okay, we'll show it to you again. Just throw this away. So again here, so what you want to do, you got to zone these guys out first, then you got to pinch, then you got to slant inside. If you don't do it in that order, it's not going to work right. And then you got to go Texas four-man. You see we get the glitchy angles there. And then I don't know why on the left side it did that. Let's just run hike. And you see, on the left side it's not being proper. One other thing I forgot to tell you, by the way, that is actually crazy important in 6-1 this year, spread your linebackers. Totally forgot to mention that. Why is that important? Because remember when I was blocking the tight end and I wasn't really getting pressure on a 10-6? When you spread the linebackers, you'll get this pretty consistently. I got to hover a little bit more left side. So we're going to slant inside, spread these linebackers out. And again, I don't have to engage. I just have to hover here. But if they block, a lot of times, well, it's being weird. Sometimes 6-1 can be so finicky. Let me just show it one more time. Let me go base protection. But again, you want to pinch, slant inside, spread your linebackers out. And then I'm going to kind of hover here. And there you see. That's what normally happens. Okay. So those are some different ways to run the 6-1 blitz aspect of the defense. Another thing that you can do is, let's say you have this blitz angle right here like this 4-man disengage. You can back your user out. So let's say, you don't want to hover. This disengage actually is a little better if your user is out of the way. This is also why, and this is what's really interesting about 6-1. This is also why when you're running 6-1, if they untarget you, it's actually super bad this year. It does stop the hover, but what's cool, in my opinion, what's cool is they base protection, and then if you're playing someone that wants to use that untarget feature, they untarget you so that your hover doesn't matter, right? Well, now take a look at how much better the pressure can be when they untarget you. Again, a little bit depends on, the actual protection that they set. But from my perspective, this can actually make this 4-man a little better when they untarget your user. As you see there, see we disengaged perfectly that time. So obviously disengage is not necessarily 100%, but it is pretty good. Another thing that you can do in 6-1 is you can leave the D-line spread out like this and just run the basic Texas 4-man stunt. It doesn't show here, but we should have, this should stunt perfect. Yep, and you see there we're getting that stunt on the right side. Another thing you could do with 6-1 that I think is cool is I talked about having auto flip off. If you run the defense flipped, it's going to give you a slightly different alignment. And so what you're going to be able to do here is if you run the Texas 4-man stunt, again, now you're going to kind of primarily be getting this left side to loop. As you see, you're getting that stunt. So that's another little factor. Now, as far as where do you hover on a Texas stunt, if you kind of hover over in this area and run down, a lot of times this guy will just come in. The other thing that's really cool, as you're seeing, is that the stunt actually activates even though we're blitzing the linebacker. So here we're Sin 5, we're blitzing that linebacker. And just by using these stunts, you're going to find some really, really cool stuff within this defense. So anyways, this is how to blitz out of 6-1. There's a lot of different methods, a lot of versatility within this defense for blitzing. From a coverage perspective, there's a lot of things you can actually do. And I think in general, you want to be sending 4 in this game a lot. The send 4 is really, really good. So the more you can send 4, I think the better it is for you. And this send 4 disengage is probably one of the better ones that I've seen so far. If you guys want to learn how I like to run the 6-1 defense, or really any of my offensive and defensive ebooks, you get access to all of those by being school members. I'll put a link to that in the description down below. $10 gets you access to all of my offensive and defensive ebooks.